Aminidinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Chayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Apatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. We are continuing our reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter 59, from verse, not exactly continuing, but we are going to be reading it from verse 26. Namaḥ paṅkaja-nābhāya, namaḥ paṅkaja-māline, namaḥ paṅkaja-netrāya, te paṅkajāṅghraye. My respectful obeisances unto you, O Lord, whose abdomen is marked with a depression like a lotus flower, who are always decorated with garland of lotuses, whose glance is as cool as a lotus, and whose feet are engraved with lotuses. Queen Kunti offered the same prayer which is found in the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 8, text 22. The synonyms and translation given here are taken from Srila Prabhupada's rendering of the text. We may also note that although Kunti's prayer occurs early in the Bhagavatam, she offered it many years after the incident described here. Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam Vasudevaya Vishnave Purushaya Dipichaya Purna Bodhaya Te Namaha. Obeisances unto you, the Supreme Lord Vasudeva Vishnu, the primeval person, the original seed. Obeisances unto you, the omniscient one. Ajaya janayiti re asya brahmane ananta shaktaye paravaratman bhutatman paramatman namostute. Obeisances unto you, of unlimited energies, the unborn progenitor of this universe, the absolute, O soul of the high and the low, O soul of the created elements, of all-pervading supreme soul, obeisances unto you. Tvam vaisasrikshur aja utkatamam prabho tamo nirodhaya dhivarshi asamvrita sthanaya sattvam jagato jagatpate kalaha pradhanam purusho bhavan parah. Desiring to create, O unborn master, you increase and then assume the mode of passion. You do likewise with the mode of ignorance when you wish to annihilate the universe, and with goodness when you wish to maintain it. Nonetheless, you remain uncovered by these modes. You are time, the pradhana, and the purusha, the Lord of the universe, yet still you are separate and distinct. The word jagataha in the third line of this verse indicates that the functions of creation, maintenance, and annihilation are here mentioned in a cosmic context. The word utkatam indicates that when a particular function is being carried out, whether universal creation, maintenance, or annihilation, the particular material quality associated with that function becomes predominant. Aham payo jyotir athanilo nabho matrani devamana indriyani karta mahan iti akhilam characharam tvayi advitya Bhagavan ayam brahma. This is illusion, that earth, water, fire, air, senses, ether, sense objects, demigods, mind, false ego, and the total material energy exist independent of you. In fact, they are all within you, my Lord, who are one without a second. The earth goddess in her prayers directly touches upon the subtleties of transcendental philosophy, clarifying that although the Supreme Lord is unique and distinct from his creation has no independent existence and always rests within him. Thus, the Lord and His creation are simultaneously one and different, as explained by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years ago. To say that everything is God without any distinction is meaningless, since nothing can act like God. Dogs, shoes, and human beings are hardly omnipotent or omniscient, nor do they create the universe. On the other hand, there is a real sense in which all things are one, for everything is a part and parcel of that same supreme, absolute reality. Lord Chaitanya has given the very useful analogy of the sun and the sun's rays. The sun and its sun's sign are one reality. For the sun is a celestial body that shines. On the other hand, one can certainly distinguish between the sun globe and sun rays. Thus, God's simultaneous oneness with and difference from His creation is the final and satisfying explanation of reality. All that exists in the Lord's potency, and yet He endows the superior potency, the living beings, with free will so that they can become responsible for the moral and spiritual quality of their decisions and activities. This entire transcendental science is clearly and rationally explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Tasyatmajoyam tava paṅkajam vitaha prapannarti haropasaditah Tatpalayainam kuruhasta paṅkajam shirashi amushyakila kalmashapaham. Here is the son of Bhaumasura. Frightened, he is approaching your lotus feet. Since you remove the distress of all who seek refuge in you, please protect him. Place your lotus hand which dispels all sins upon his head. Here the earth goddess seeks protection of her grandson, who has been frightened by all the terribly violent events that took place. Shri Shukavacha Iti Bhumyarpito Vagbhir Bhagavan Bhakti Namraya Datva Bhayam Bhaumagriham Pravishat Sakalarthimat. Shukadeva Goswami said, thus entreated by goddess Bhumi, in words of humble devotion, the Supreme Lord bestowed fearlessness upon her grandson and then entered Bhaumasura's palace, which was filled with all manner of riches. Tatra rajanya kanyanam shatsahasradhikayutam Bhauma hritanam vikramya rajapyo tatrishe. There Lord Krishna saw 16,000 royal maidens whom Bhauma had taken by force from various kings. Srila Sridhar Swami provides evidence from the sage Parashara, as quoted in the Vishnu Purana, to the effect that there were actually 16,100 royal maidens imprisoned in Bhauma's palace. Kanya Puresa Kanyanam Shodasha Satulya Vikramah Shatadhikani Tatrishe Sahasrani Mahamati. Within the maiden's quarters, O wise one, that lord of unequal prowess found 16,100 princes. Another relevant verse from the Vishnu Purana is as follows: Deva Siddha Suradhinam Nripanam Cha Janardhana Ritvahi So Asurakanya Rurotan Nijamandire. The demon Bhaumasura kidnapped the unmarried daughters of demigods, siddhas, asuras, and kings, O Janardana, and imprisoned them in his palace. Tam pravishtam striyo vikshya naravaryam vimohitaha manasa bhavire adishtam patim daivopasaditam. The women became enchanted when they saw that the most excellent of males entered. In their minds they each accepted him who had been brought there by destiny as their close husbands. Bhuyat patir ayam makyam dhata tat anumodatam iti sarvaha pratak krishne bhavena kritayam tadu. With the thought, may Providence grant that this man become my husband, each and every princess absorbed her heart in the contemplation of Krishna. Tahat prahino dvaravatim Sumrishtavirajo ambaraha narayanir mahakoshan ratashvan zadinam mahatu. Lord had the princesses arrayed in clean, spotless garments, and then sent them in palanquins to Dwarka, together with great treasures of chariots, horses, and other valuables. ऐरावत कुलुम्भांश्च चतुर्दन्तांस्तरस्विनः पाण्डुरांश्च चतुःषष्टिं ते प्रेरयाम् आसकेशवः. Lord Krishna also dispatched 64 swift white elephants, descendants of Airavata, who each sported 4 tusks. So, Om Tat Sat. Om Jnana-timidandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurum-militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaḥ. Srimad Bhagavatam ki. So, there is much that I have already mentioned yesterday to commemorate Diwali, the killing of Narakasura. So this is the scene that we are reading after the killing of Narakasura. We are reading how Krishna accepted these 16,100 wives. And remember, Satyabhama was with him while he was doing this, while he was killing all the soldiers. And he was doing all this single-handedly. Single-handedly went there to kill Narakasura, single-handedly faced the entire soldiers, army, everybody. And single-handedly also he is getting all the 16,100 wives and sending them to Dwaraka, very well equipped. So it shows very clearly that the Lord needs no one. This is the meaning of saying Abhijñah Swarat, fully conscious and totally aware, and does not need anybody. Does not need anybody for carrying out whatever he needs. Bhumi Devi that is why glorifying him, because it is her son Bhaumasura that Krishna has killed. And she agrees that he became like this. And it is also meant, if I remember right, that he had the association of Banasura also, due to which reason he became more and more demoniac. He and Banasura were very good friends. So that's a tragic end of a person who may have looked very successful in material life, who may have a history of being very, very, opportunistic, and having enjoyed a lot, 16,100 females that he had gathered, his palace, the whole, security system, everything together, he must have been known for these things. But with one swell swoop, Krishna has finished him. Everything is finished. All your great reputation, your life, your 16,100 wives, everything together is finished and taken away by Krishna. Mrityu sarva haraschaham. That's why Krishna is called Hari. Hari means one who takes away from you. So when we come to know about the greatness of Krishna, and we really believe in it, not casually believe in it. If you casually believe in it, you'll just be not very serious and dragging your feet. And if you don't believe, then there is another problem. But if you know and you profess not to believe and then act against the Lord, that's another thing. You see all these kinds of people in this world. People who are willing to accept authority and drag their feet. People who are willing to accept authority and completely follow them. People who know there is authority and avoid them and deny them. You find these characters. In every institution, you will find these characters, even in the Varnashrama institution. There are Athiestic people and there are mayavadi people who know that there is God and they try to depersonalize him. Then there are simple devotees who completely follow the Lord. Then there are ritualistic guys who, want benefit from the Lord. You will find all these characters in human life. So in Pragjyotishapura, Narakasura was a person who knew about Krishna and he was against him. This is meaning of Asura. Knowing and then saying, no, he is not there, there is no such a person, there is no God required, I am there, that is enough. Wants to put himself in the place. So the same tendency you will find even inside religion. Inside religion also, you have people who claim to be as good as God. You have people who want fruits from God. You have people who, conditionally follow God. You have people who want to become God. I mean, all sorts of combinations we have. But Bhumi Devi, she is a devotee. She is the consort of the Supreme Lord. So she's coming and speaking in glory and speaking about the glories of the Supreme Lord, surrendering to him and asking Krishna to bestow mercy on her grandson, which Krishna duly does. We have to know that what is the meaning of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? He has nobody above him. There is nobody to control him. It's not needed. This understanding is very difficult for people to accept. They think, how is it possible like that? How did it happen like that? Who appointed him? Our way of thinking mostly is every effect has got a cause. And therefore we take the Lord to be an effect. And we instantly want to know what is his cause. We don't know the concept of Sarva Karana Karanam, the cause of all causes, and all causes ending there. No more cause and effect principle. This is absolute understanding. This is what is the understanding of God as given in the Vedic scriptures. God is not presented without philosophy. God is presented with a proper philosophical understanding of God. Of course, you can have a personal understanding of God and have bhakti and establish relationship with him and get to know. But Bhumi Devi obviously knows what is the meaning of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mostly I have seen that people don't know conceptually what we mean when we say God. It's simply because of not understanding it. If you're too overwhelmed with your own situation, wherein you need help, and wherein you think that I need money, I need to get married, or I need a job, or I'm having this type of difficulty constantly, then you're always trying to get that ready. That's uppermost in your mind. That's what is mostly occupying your mind. The past, the future, and the present become screwed up because of that. Shoka moha bhayapaha. That's mentioned in the Bhagavatam very nicely. Every living being is overcome by shoka, lamentation, moha, illusion, bhaya, fear. So past, present, future, all of them get muddled up. But when we understand God, when we understand the timeless nature of yourself, then actually things change a lot. If we are able to repose our faith in God, whenever we don't, we land up in one of these categories. Narakasura is very, very fortunate because Krishna personally came and killed him, which means he will get a very good destination. But all of us are not like Narakasura, and we not try to become like Narakasura to attract Krishna. We should actually try to become a devotee. Automatically it attracts Krishna. This is what Prabhupada has told us. To attract Krishna, we need to be devotees, right? And that's why we are chanting Hare Krishna and performing devotion service. The philosophical understanding of God, we get to know by reading Prabhupada's books, getting knowledge. And then we accept God in our life. And then we gradually as we do sadhana, we come to a point of naturally accepting Krishna and developing love for him. Right? Nishtha, Ruchi, Tata, Ashakti. After passing through the stages of Adu Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha, Ata Bhajana Kriya, then Anartha Nivriti, Ruchi, Ashakti, like that. We have to, till Anartha Nivriti, a person has to struggle. And he'll have many challenges to his belief, to his faith in God. And it's all created by Anartha Nivriti. So the Lord knows this. Anartha Nivriti means unwanted things in the heart. Narakasura had everything unwanted only, nothing wanted. Nothing desirous of any good. So Bhumi Devi obviously knows the difference between this and that. Although it is her son, she is understanding what Krishna is doing. She is understanding that the soul is forever. She is understanding that by Krishna personally killing her son, he has shown mercy to Narakasura. This is also understood. So wherever the Lord is involved, even in killing an asura, there will be good only done. This is one thing you should understand. All Krishna's pastimes are like that. And these pastimes are enacted so that we'll become attracted. Narakasura obviously never became attracted by the Lord, even though he must have heard of his pastimes, because he's envious. He's envious. Envious people, lusty people, greedy people, and all of them, their head is always filled with sense gratification at any point of time. Not about devotional service. And when we become, even in devotional service, when we become very, very deeply desirous of the association of the Lord, then only Krishna really appears. This is the meaning of Janmashtami. In Janmashtami, we see that Vasudeva and Devaki went through 6 sons being killed, put in the prison house, tortured mentally, physically. And they just held on by one proposition, one prediction, that the 7th son of Devaki will be Krishna, which is what they prayed for. So they went through a lot of austerity because they know that Krishna is going to appear. So in other words, we can say that you don't get Krishna so easily. Just because it is Lord Chaitanya's time does not mean it should be super duper easy and you should demand it, right? We know that unless we really eagerly desire it, Krishna is not going to show himself to us. Or you have to be an asura like Narakasura, Shishupala and everybody. That on the other side, you're so horrible, you're so, crazy, that Krishna only has to come to settle it. That's one side that Krishna appears. On the other side, Krishna appears when the devotee is really desperately performing austerities and eagerly wanting. So Devaki and Vasudeva were able to see Krishna because of that. Similarly, Bhumi Devi had suffered enough under asuras like Narakasura and everything. She was very desperate. That's why you will see before Janmashtami celebrations, you'll see the chapter which says demigods offer prayers. And Vasudeva and Devaki also offered their prayers. Very, very sincerely, desperately in that situation. Having lost 6 sons, Devaki, how her prayer would have been. When we are materially exhausted, Tvam akinchana gochara. When people become materially exhausted and they don't want anything to do with this world and they desperately seek Krishna, only then Krishna appears. This is Kunti Devi's statement. You see, she is understanding and acknowledging the fact that Krishna has appeared because she has gone through a lot. She has gone through a lot and Krishna is giving her special darshan. Many people saw Krishna, but they did not understand who this person is because they had not developed their desire. Socrates, it is mentioned, he actually was asked by his students, very thoughtful person, Greek philosopher. He was asked by his students as to why um, it is so difficult to get to know God, get to see Him. So Socrates wanted to tell them that you really don't want to see God. That's why He's not coming in front of you. Prabhupada, in his conversation yesterday, I was hearing a lecture and Prabhupada said this: you really don't want to see Krishna. That is why Krishna is not coming in front of you. If you have the burning internal desire to see Krishna, see means associate with Krishna and serve Him, then Krishna will manifest Himself. So they didn't understand yet, the students said, I mean, obviously we're hearing you, you're telling us, and we also have a desire, but that is not enough actually. Knowledge does not create enough of a desire to associate with Krishna. It is devotional service. Dhyana Vijnana Sahitam Yajñātva Mokṣyate Subhat. It has to come to the planet of Vijnana, and it has to come to the platform of actually doing something desperately for Krishna. See, the gopis were very desperate to have Krishna as a husband. They performed severe austerities. They went in the early cold time into the Yamuna, and shivering there they prayed on the bank of the Yamuna, and they were willing to do any amount of austerity for the sake of achieving Krishna as a husband. And then of course Krishna rewarded them by stealing their garments and telling them he is very pleased with their desire and their austerity, and he gave them the reward of Rasalila. That is very nicely mentioned. So sometimes we think that Krishna is really accessible very casually. No. The main thing is tatra mulyam laulyam. The real impetus for Krishna to come in front of you is your eagerness, your fresh, intense eagerness to associate with Krishna. And for that, we have to feel that separation from Krishna. This is what Lord Chaitanya has taught us. When we feel that separation from Krishna, we become very desperate for Krishna. The gopis, when Krishna disappeared during the last Leela, they became mad with desperation. So Socrates wanted to show these people. So actually he took them, okay, come with me. He took some of his students who were very keen. And he went to a lake. And in the lake, all of a sudden, he took them and dunked them into the lake. He held two of them by his hand and pushed them underneath. And they were struggling. And then he pulled them out. As soon as they breathed, he put them inside again. Then he pulled them out. Again, as soon as they started breathing, he put them inside again. Then he said, enough, we can't do it anymore. And they became very... Then he lifted them and asked, what were you thinking when you were underwater? And they said, because they were students, no? Oh, they breathed for some time and said, we were just thinking air, breathing air. He said, yes, when you desire like that, God will reveal Himself to you. The truth will reveal Himself to you. You're not having that desperate desire to understand and actually see. That's true. If you examine your pulse, how Krishna conscious I am, you must feel anxiety. Anxiety for doing service to Krishna, anxiety for doing something about Prabhupada's mission, anxiety, and you'll see that feeling of restlessness. Then you are getting ready to see Krishna, because that is bhava. Bhava means restlessness and desperation. All these things are described in the nectar of devotion, those who are in bhava. So you can see that we are chanting the gopis' prayer in the morning. You can see their Very helpless desire. Why you're leaving us like this? Please don't do this to us. We are suffering. Please. And what are they suffering from? Not headache, not COVID. They're not suffering hunger. They're not, feeling suffering because of any of these things. They are feeling suffering because Krishna has disappeared. Association of Krishna is not there. Do we desire like that? Do we desire that I cannot be without chanting Hare Krishna? Wow. Do we desire that I cannot be without taking darshan? I am wondering. I am under super quarantine, not allowed for darshan. Right? Initially, for the first few days, I felt very uncomfortable. Oh, I have to go there and sing Kirtan and welcome the Lord and see. But I was forced to. Now I'm getting used to not being able to go for darshan, which is very dangerous. Of course, I really like to go, but I think that a situation where there is impossible for me to manage without. Sometimes people are in love with each other, so-called love in this world, and they are desperately wanting to be together. And you can see they will do anything to cross over and go. This is a material emotion that you can mirror and see. So a devotee of the Lord is a person who continuously hankers deeply for Krishna. That is when Krishna appears. Right? That's when Krishna appears. So in front of Bhumi Devi, Krishna has appeared, and Bhumi Devi has got the great opportunity to witness Krishna, darshan of Krishna. And when Krishna so desires, he gives his darshan to his devotees. Out of his own mercy, out of his own free will. It is not that because you did sadhana. It is not any of these reasons. If at all there is any reason, the main reason is your eagerness, your desire to see Krishna. So that is why Krishna is coming to perform these pastimes. We should be eager to hear them. We should be eager to render service. We should be eager to perform our sadhana. In other words, how do we do that? How do we make ourselves eager? We make ourselves eager by actually reminding ourselves of Krishna. The more we remind ourselves of Krishna, the more we hear his pastimes, the more we hear his instructions, the more we revive our original relationship with Krishna. And the more we revive our original relationship, the more we feel separation from Krishna. Revival of a relationship is directly proportional to what level of separation you feel. And depending on that, Krishna appears and gives you an experience. He may not even appear physically in front of you, but still give you an experience and intensify. So now and then, Krishna would do that so that you will intensify. He did that to Narada Muni. He told Narada Muni, you are not yet qualified to see me now. But if you perform austerities and penances like this, thinking of me, then you become qualified. And Narada Muni did so. And he became Narada Muni. He became that person called Narada Muni. So, in Prag Jyotishapura, Narakasura never wanted to see Krishna actually. He was like Krishna's competitor. In his own little bubble, he is working out his own life and having this great picture that I will become like that once. But Krishna comes into his bubble, breaks his bubble, and tells him, you fool, you don't know what's the reality. Shoots him, kills him, separates him from his body, gives him liberation. Right? So this is Krishna's mercy. So many times we don't want it, but Krishna is entering our life. So in Lord Chaitanya's movement, we should understand this, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come and performed his pastimes. We should perform our portion. That is to feel that laulyam, that greed for associating with Krishna, this greed for serving Krishna. It's proportionate to the amount of shraddha or faith you have. When we don't have so much faith in Vaishnavas, when we don't have so much faith in the scripture, when we don't have faith in the words of Krishna, then our enthusiasm is limited, especially towards spiritual life. But our enthusiasm may be a lot in other places, which is material. So we have right now enthusiasm for sense gratification, material possessions, everything. But we don't have enthusiasm for Krishna because we don't know about it. We don't know about Krishna. That is why we are getting to know Krishna by hearing his pastimes, hearing how he performs pastimes with his devotees, and then we are dedicating our time and energy for serving Krishna. Right? So some of these lessons we can draw from this Narakasura incident and pastime. That eagerness, Krishna's mercy and appearance in the life of the Asura, and Bhumi Devi worshipping him, although it is her son who is at stake, and she has duty to do something about it. So she's asking Krishna to bless. Also, we can learn that Krishna is the ultimate shelter. We don't have to worry about how Krishna will shelter 16,100 of us. That is never a concern for Krishna. We can, increase it to a very great degree. But we don't. Our desire to achieve Krishna consciousness should be looked into carefully. How eager why I am not very eager. It must be because of material desires in the heart. It must be because of offenses in the heart. Because of all these things, it doesn't take place. This is Lord Chaitanya's instructions to Amogha, placing his lotus hands on Amogha's chest. He told Amogha, the heart is a place for Krishna to be, not for lust, greed, anger, and all that. When these things are there, Krishna cannot reside there. So it's actually by the heart. We see Cheto Darpanamarjanam, how much we are actually cleansed. According to that, we develop eagerness in the association of devotees. And according to that, Krishna bestows his mercy. So now it's like quietened down all the great Diwali sound. It's like, festival boom. Everybody enjoys so much externally in Diwali. Bursting crackers, wearing good clothes, lighting lamps, and then showing yourself off. It sounds so materialistic because there is no element of remembering the Lord, no element of serving the Lord, no element of association with the Lord much. Everybody gets ritualistically external. And you can see, I don't know what you're getting out of it. In my younger days, when we would fire crackers, my mother would say that all waste, burning up money, just burning up money. Then I would wonder, that's a good logic actually. What is the thrill in buying these crackers and everything? And she said, you're just seeing fire and burn up. I said, no, it's a celebration, isn't it? She used to ask me, celebrate what? What are you celebrating? Because she was into doing puja and all that. So she would ask me, so what are you celebrating? Just by hearing the sound, it's a celebration. She asked me, and that time it struck me very much. All this light and danger, and you guys, you got a boil here, you got burnt your hand here. All this is something very nice. I don't know why you people do this. She never liked the sound, the dangerous, this thing, the people handling fire, and as a woman, she was very sensitive to these type of dangerous things. But the question that she asked, for what? Sometimes we have to discuss, what are we doing? Why are we doing? Who are we? Where are we going? We have to define these things. Right? Why are we celebrating Diwali like this? Many people don't ask. What is the root cause behind? What is the story behind Narakasura's vadam by Krishna? He is an asura. There's some people who say it's good over evil. Okay, what is good? What is evil? And they'll give their own interpretations of it. It's so relative. What is good and what is evil. At different levels it can be understood. But really good is that the person takes up Krishna consciousness. Really bad is that he does not take Krishna consciousness. In between this, he can do a lot of things with material life. He can enjoy material life and he can say that I did good. But in the eyes of the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, nobody does good unless he does service to Krishna. Unless he engages himself in devotion service, it is not good. It's not good. So Narakasura didn't have any of that quality. And Krishna, by showing mercy, began maybe Narakasura's next life, from where he can actually take up Krishna consciousness. So this is very important, that the Lord shows his mercy to Narakasura. And Bhumi Devi recognizes that he has shown mercy. This is why we say the Lord is merciful. Merciful does not only mean gave you blessings, gave you money, gave you all your desires. That alone is not mercy. Mercy is when you actually become Krishna conscious. Mercy is when you get opportunity to serve Krishna. And so we are also asking for prayer through our prayers today, post Diwali. Tomorrow is Govardhana Puja. That we may be deeply carrying these imports of the pastime that we read yesterday and today, and progress in our genuine spiritual devotion to Krishna. Om Tat Sat. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.